Thanks, Neil. So I'm Alexey Medvedev. I work for Meta, and I'm a chair of 3D formats working group at Khronos. So basically, we're responsible for glTF, KTX, Collada, and some other projects. Let's do really quick overview what the glTF is today, what is the current and the future. So in the fact, glTF today is a whole ecosystem. It's not only 3D assets, transmission format, which is only part of this. We develop a lot of software to make it happen. We support open source exporters and the authoring tools, and then we support all the validation layers for the assets. It's a lot of open source software around this. We increasingly involved into industry standards, so we are part of ISO. As for today, we are able to deliver our updates independently. We have already glTF as ISO standard, and we will make a new submission in some nearest future. Also, we collaborate with a lot of different foundational institutes as well. As you can see on the slide, we part of PDF spec today. We are part of MPEG spec. We're part of X3D. Then we're used by 3D Tiles and VRM Consortium. In fact, it's a spec that built on top of glTF. That's quite interesting for us, and we collaborate with all of them. Also, we heavily involved in cross-standard collaboration. So OpenUSD, our partners in this case, we want to make sure the USD and glTF coexist together. We're not competing, but complementing each other. And there's a whole initiative based on metaverse standards that basically make it happen. We're definitely looking for inputs for the industry inputs, how we can make this better. glTF core feature, one of the fundamental one is materials. It's probably one of the most rapidly evolved extensions for the glTF. As you can see on the slide, we develop, starting from 2020, we develop almost every year, we develop and ratified several extensions at least. For this year, we already ratified dispersion and anisotropy extension that are super complex based on the previous extensions. As you can see, we evolve in the way to represent as much materials as we can. This is one of the examples how we pervasive for the actual software and the other standards. As for today, you can use glTF PBR node in Material X, for example. That means you can use the glTF PBR ecosystem even outside of glTF ecosystem. This is, actually there will be a presentation, short presentation later today about the tone mapping. We recognize that was a huge gap, how we actually render the assets for the e-commerce needs. And we want to be photorealistic as much as possible, and we figured out the current tone mappers are not friendly for such cases. The current tone mappers that use for movies or like for the games, and we invented like a new one. So again, details are coming. We have implemented glTF viewer for iOS. It's completely open source and open. Feel free to try it on. That means we are trying to be presented on all platforms as much as possible. And this is our current, it's not roadmap per se, it's like our current state. That's the extension that we're working these days. And we have a following up presentations. We'll go deeply into this and just like really quick glimpse on those. We're working on interactivity extension, working on physics, working on external references, aka glTFX for file format. And also, I really quickly want to mention the Tod Commerce effort. When we trying to be as friendly to actual business and e-commerce as possible, and it ends up as multiple projects for our sister group. We implement sample viewers, we implement several validator tools, we develop asset library, we are working on asset generation project, which is I think that's super valuable for the industry. And then we have like a rendering fidelity work stream, and it will be covered later today. And this is our current development roadmap. So we want to deliver interactivity, most likely physics and audio this year, and we'll start working on the external references later this year as well. And that's it for me.